video slash mukbang. Cause girls about to eat. It's lunchtime, so I gotta eat. But today's topic is gonna be: is it ever okay to have an abortion? And for those of you who already know, I'm pregnant, and I'm not talking about me. I'm not thinking about getting no abortion for myself, if that's where we're going at. But anyway, so I've got some chili cheese fries. I know, so fat, right? Pray for me. Pray for me. I'm not trying to get fat, but I like to eat, okay? I have a small, and I mean small, little piece of baklava right here, which I can't wait to smash as well. Baklava is a sweet dessert that is either considered Arabic or like Middle Eastern, just Middle Eastern, okay? It is really good. And I also have, with the chili cheese fries, a buffalo chicken wrap. So this is all from Coney Island, if you can't tell. So yeah, bon appetit. Thank you for joining me, the one person that's here so far. But we are talking about abortions, and is it okay to ever have one? And the reason I'm talking about this is because I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's this horrible court case going on right now involving this she's already passed on. It was a 5-year-old girl named Harmony Montgomery. And it's a horrible story. Like, literally, she was murdered by her own dad. But here's the backstory. So, the little 5-year-old girl, her dad, his dad's new wife, and their 2 young babies were all living in a car. A freaking car, okay? A Chrysler Sebring, to be exact. A family of 5. Why were they living in a car? Well, the parents were strung out on drugs, heroin, to be exact. And they weren't paying their, mortgage, so they got evicted from their house. And so they were living in the car, and one day, the dad just got really mad at the little girl for urinating on herself in the car. Which, can you blame her? You got her living in a car. It's not like she got a toilet available. But anyway, he beat the girl to death in the car. And so it just calls into question, why are some people parents? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do some people have children ever? At all? I don't get it. Because you're not able to financially support them. You're strung out on drugs. Why do you have 3 kids? Like, how did this even happen? You know what I'm saying? How do you continually? And the babies, the 2 youngest ones was like 1 and like, I think 11, no, one of them was like 2 and the other one might have been 11 months, something crazy like that. And it's like, y'all are steadily having kids, homeless, and you're strung out on drugs. Why are people parents? I don't get it. If you can't afford to be a parent, don't be a parent. And some people think, oh, well, maybe they should have had an abortion. And you know what? In some cases, yeah, I hate to say it, but I agree with abortions in some cases. Now, if you're one of them chicks, and everybody knows at least one girl like this, who done had 8, 9, 10 abortions, and then she only kept like maybe two of them kids, but she would have had like 10 or 12 by now. I know at least everybody know at least one girl like that. And I'm not saying that abortion is right for her, because she, at that point, them type of females use birth control, or I'm sorry, they're using abortions as birth control. And that's definitely not what it's meant to be. But the idea of bringing kids into the world that you're just gonna mess up, not take care of, and abuse, to me, is worse than just aborting them in the first place. Because, I mean, granted, it's evil either way, but the mental torture and things like that you're putting a child through when they're being abused or neglected and forced to live in vehicles and shit, excuse my language, but In those cases, I think people should have just had an abortion. Like, y'all should have never had them kids. If you was just gonna beat one of them to death with your bare hands because she peed on herself, because you couldn't handle the heat of life, because you got kicked out, you got evicted, now you stressed, all y'all living in a little car, and you get mad over nothing. It's just not right. And so, you're darn skippy. In some cases, abortions do need to happen. But when you're a whore and you're slinging your coup for every Tom, Dick, and Jerry that's out there, no, that's not cool either. I don't approve of that either. Asia does not approve of that. Okay, because you are wasting valuable government dollars. You know what I'm saying? Because your lifestyle is just so trash. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. And I don't know how people eat this. Look at this. How the heck am I supposed to eat this? I think I need a fork with this. I can't pick this up. What the heck? There's more chicken than there is pita bread. That's spicy. It's buffalo chicken. Hey, Lord. How's it going? We talking about abortions and how, even though I don't agree with it, never had one myself, never will, I just think that some people shouldn't be parents. And if you get pregnant and you're going to just abuse the child anyway and neglect them and not offer them any chance of a future, then you might as well have just gotten an abortion. Because we all know, people that are stuck in a rut, living in poverty, can't escape because life just keeps happening to them. They'll never do any better. They don't know how to do any better. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think, like, life would have just probably been better if you were never born. And that sounds mean, but it's true. Sometimes the chop shop can save your life. Yeah, I mean, it's taking a life to save it at the end of the day, because some people just don't have what it takes to be a parent. They just really don't. And it's upsetting to me to see that kind of stuff. But anyway, so our new thing now is talking and mukbanging at the same time, okay? And I forgot to mention that in the title, so please don't be mad if you get here and you're like, why is she eating? Because it's a mukbang too, okay? Ooh, that buffalo chicken is spicy. I don't think I was ready. I also got a lemonade here. But yeah, I don't know. That whole case, if you guys haven't heard of her, it's dealing with a 5-year-old girl named Harmony Montgomery, whose father is on trial right now. And I hope they honestly give him the death penalty, because I don't think people should just be, hey, what's up, Sean? I don't think people should just be allowed to live out the rest of their lives in prison. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you took a life. Why should we as taxpayers keep you alive and keep feeding you and keep paying for programs for you to get into while you're in prison? No. We need to just discontinue you as an individual and stop the drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, kill these people. These people waiting on death row for 10 years and stuff. Screw that. If you get convicted, and there's more than enough evidence to prove that you did it, you need to die. You need to go. Because I'm tired of being a taxpayer. I'm thinking about our money that could be used for so much more positive stuff. Keeping criminals, people who have done nothing for society in a positive way at all, alive. For what? The potential that they might do something positive? Who cares? You better off them people sitting on death row. In fact, I go so far as to say, why not let people who have like a lot of stress in their life, who need to vent, who do have an urge to purge or kill, why not let them take out all their anger and stress out on people who are on death row anyway? their lives are useless at that point. Like, once you've done something so evil and wrong in society, like beat a 5-year-old girl to death with your bare hands, who was your own daughter, yeah, I think you deserve to die. And I think you deserve to die in a pretty painful way. Right. You have the nerve to complain on death row. Like, your life is so pointless. You don't even need to live. They need to kill all them people. Like today. Because we got abortion clinics everywhere. People can go and end their child's life at a whim. But you got people just sitting on death row who have committed heinous crimes, waiting for their day to die. Like, that's just stupid to me. But going back to it, what are some scenarios in which abortion is like technically okay? And I think the obvious one most people would agree with is rape or incest, because ew, right? So those are like automatic, okay. Or if you're like waiting for a train to go by, if you are the type of person who's about to die because you're pregnant, like your kid is not growing in the right spot, or it could possibly endanger you as the mom to give birth to this child, then yeah, I mean, abortion at that point would be considered, because it's like one of those things where, you might have other kids you got to live for. So yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead, get that abortion. But if you're just using it as a form of birth control because, I don't know, like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and spill a little tea. So, what if a crazy chick tries to trap you with a baby? Yeah. I mean, that's just something you kind of risk as a man. You can't really make a woman get an abortion, unfortunately. So, I think guys should be able to sign away their rights. I absolutely do. Because again, if you don't want that child, and all you do is possibly, abuse the opportunity to be a parent, then yeah, sign your rights away. Give the child up for adoption. Put them in foster care, whatever. There's someone that could possibly give a better life to the child than an abuser. But I think some women use it as a form of birth control. Like, it's a girl I literally know, works for the same place I do, had something like 8 abortions. Only let 2 of her children survive. Why did she have that many? Because she was loose with her coup. She'd be in situations where she was talking to a few guys at one time, and not just talking to them, letting them smash, and apparently being very irresponsible in a sense, like letting them smash raw. So then you have an opportunity where you have 3 possible different fathers. So instead of bringing the child into a world of confusion, not knowing who the baby daddy is, and to possibly save yourself, I guess, some face, you get an abortion. I don't agree with that. Because if you lay down, you made that choice, and you have a decent enough job, to take care of that child, maybe you should just do it. Maybe at that point, being a parent would straighten you out, help you become more responsible. A woman shouldn't hound a man for years if he doesn't want the baby. Just raise your kid and move on. I keep a Plan B pill in my car and in my house at all times. Yeah, you should. And then just like slip it in her drink or something. Make sure. Crush that boy up. But yeah, I think, I don't know. Like I said, there's some cases where abortions are cool, and then some cases where it's like, Like, if you're really young, if you're in high school or something like that, even though you don't need to be having sex, and I don't agree with that, maybe have an abortion because, you don't want to ruin your whole rest of your future, and you definitely don't want to burden your parents. Somebody said, I totally agree. Always thought men should have a say in the abortion clinic. I think if a woman can opt out of motherhood, men should be able to opt out as well. I absolutely agree. The laws definitely don't, protect men in that sense. Um, do I think that men should be able to make a woman have an abortion? No. If she wants the child, she can keep the child. And you just be responsible for it. But I got a feeling that if they made it a law to where men could just opt out, then there probably would just be even more fatherless homes. Let's be real. Because so many men would just not do it. You know what I mean? Because I think for some men, if they don't care anything about the woman, more than likely they're not going to care anything about that child. Tell me how crazy this is. You can get pregnant. The man is happy. You can go and abort it anyway. Or you can get pregnant. He tells you he doesn't want it. You can hound him anyway. Yeah, it does seem very one-sided. Life is very one-sided in the female, respects, especially when it comes to courts and child support. 100%. I don't think that's right. Because I know too many shiesty females. Oh, don't crush a plant beer or drink 50 mile an hour, you go to jail. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's still like one of those things where it's not fair to guys, It's just not fair. Like, you're pretty much damned if you do, damned if you don't, So, yeah. Today we're mukbanging and talking about abortions for those who are just joining the live. Are abortions ever okay? Is there a scenario in which you've been in and you've had to have an abortion and you thought, well, that was probably the best choice you ever made for yourself and your family? Baby mamas make themselves. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I'm not even gonna lie. I've been in that, shoe, that predicament myself. And it's true. It's 100% your choice to know whether you are married or not, and you choose to go ahead and procreate. You allow that man to get you pregnant. And if you're not married, you got to deal with the social stigmas and everything that come along with it. People try to make it seem like it's okay, but I don't think it is. I don't think the average person thinks that being, unmarried and a mom is okay. Because I know for a fact, when I had my daughter in the hospital and stuff like that, and I had to put her name down and her last name was different than mine, and when I had to put like, yes, I'm not married and stuff, like, I was slightly embarrassed. I was. Because of the way I was raised, I wasn't supposed to do that. But I did it anyway. Women decide whether a child is born. A man has no say so. Men and women, they will try use advantage women to opt out of motherhood and men to opt out of fatherhood. Sometimes women just want money. Yes. If you don't want to become a baby mama, don't have sex or use protection. There you go. There you go. Why is that not an option for so many people? Protecting yourself. Especially like I know so many grown women, I'm talking 25 and up, who actively have sexual relationships with multiple guys at one time. And they know the risk of pregnancy. And then when they get pregnant and they don't know who the dad is, and then they still want to be a mom, it's like, oh, I don't need a man. I can do it myself. Well, maybe technically you can, but you're still going to need help. And who's to say that your mama or your sisters or your cousins, your aunties want to babysit? Because that's the main people that's going to end up taking care of the kids. How many of y'all know an auntie who always got somebody else's kid? A grandma who always got her grandkids? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not, excuse me, it's not because the mom's working. Most of the time it's because the mom just want to play and have her fun. And you have those family members that just enable her to do it. That's like the majority of baby mama culture right there. If you don't want a woman to trap you, you don't have sex, use protection, vasectomy, it goes both ways. That's true too. Take your dick, like Tommy Sotomayor used to say, take your dick and go home. Straight up. You don't have to put that in her, especially if you know what type of female she is. If you know you're dealing with a hoe, don't put it in her. I mean, men do have some level of responsibility in it too. But I'm just here because I'm tired of people becoming parents and then, like, just not doing right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be a parent, just do it the right way. Make sure that you have a place of your own. You're not living with someone else. Don't be bringing babies into the world if you're living off of somebody else. Number one, have your own roof. Two, have a steady flow of income. And I'm not talking a minimum wage job. You need a career. If you're going to be a parent, you need a career. Because minimum wage jobs are here today, gone tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You can't support a family on that anyway. You just can't. Yeah, I agree with you, Elijah. Definitely. Back in the day, a woman wasn't married, bringing children to the world. She had to go into hiding and stuff like that. Now, they got baby showers for babies. Teenagers, like, proud that they're pregnant and stuff, knowing that kid ain't about to have no kind of future. You know what I'm saying? At that point, yeah, abort that kid because it's just going to be another statistic. And I'm sorry, but you know what? When you hear about some people's lives, like the entirety of it, have you ever just thought, man, probably would have been better had you just never been born? You know? Like, especially if you're going to go through a whole bunch of crap. You're going to get abused. You ain't never go know what love is. And then when you finally grow up, your life is hard. You struggle, poverty, drug abuse. You know what I'm saying? Homelessness. Like, you might as well have just never been born. Yeah. I don't think men should be treated like children. They're just as responsible because it takes two to tango. Point blank, period. But if a guy doesn't want the baby, at the end of the day, say you both decide to have unprotected sex for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? You know the consequences, but for whatever reason you decide to do it anyway. If both of y'all have unprotected sex, she get pregnant, and the man says, please don't have that child, I don't want a child, and then you still do, I think you should be on your own. I don't think he should just be forced into it. Because at the end of the day, like the point Lord Gilead brought up, we as women can choose once we're pregnant whether or not we want to go through with it. And there's plenty of women who get pregnant by people they're in relationships with, and then because they just don't want to be with that guy long term or something, he's just Mr. Right now, she goes behind his back, has an abortion. I mean, how many stories have you heard like that? So I think men should have an opt-out. Yeah, I agree. Both parties should be held accountable. But at the be-all end of it, if a man tells you, I don't want the child, and, say you're not in a position to take care of it by yourself, don't have that child. Because you're not going to give that child a good future. And we know stories over and over again, like the one I just started this live off with, the Harmony Montgomery, the 5-year-old girl who was beat to death by her dad. People who weren't ready to be parents, who were given children and then chose drugs and chose whatever poor lifestyle choices they chose, and then the kids reap all the wonderful benefits of it. Psych, no, they get killed, they die, they get abused, neglected, end up messed up themselves in the future because they just had to deal with so much as a child. And for some reason, that story, like when I heard that man beat that little girl, I lost it. I cried so hard because I look at my little baby girl and she's about to be 4, so, and I just think like listening to the story, like the lady was like, he beat her to death and her face was all black and blue and swollen, and then he just folded her in half and put her in a double duffel bag. And I'm just looking at my kid and I'm just like, how could anybody do something like that? We're talking about a little kid. The innocence of like a child when they're like 3 to 5, and the cute little things they talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then just to think that you lost control and you punched her in the head so many times. His wife watched it all and she didn't do anything because she was scared. You're a coward. At the end of the day, you don't step up and fight for someone smaller than you. You're a coward. And you're going to have to live with the fact that you didn't help that little girl as she was getting beaten to death. Like, it's sick. It's sick. And I don't want to get into it because I feel like I'm about to cry right now. I'm all emotional and pregnant, but it's just wrong. Like, why even be a parent if you just gonna mess up the kid? Had her living in a car and you mad because she don't know how to control her bowels, but you have her in a car. There's no toilet. So say, they were strung out on heroin for a few hours. When they wake up, the little girl wet the seat. Well, duh. It's not like she had a toilet to go to, you stupid MF. Both, as long as she has the option to not have the kid, it's ultimately her fault if she is struggling. Yeah. So that's that. Again, that's what I just wanted to talk about. Like, I know some people like abortion is wrong 100% of the time. You should never, never, never have an abortion. And I mean, I get that because some people waste abortions and look at it like a second option for, birth control. Like, no, it's not. It's not meant to be abused like that. That's just meant because you made a mistake and you're supposed to learn from it. You ain't supposed to be making multiple trips to the damn chop shop. That's ridiculous. You know? But for the people that do need to do it, it's because you ain't got your life together. You don't need to, again, if you don't have your own home, if you're living in someone else's house, don't bring no baby in that house. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a steady source of income, don't bring a child into the world because you don't have the money to take care of it, and you're just going to be another statistic living off of the government. And I'm tired of it. How many people are tired of their checks being raped from taxes because it's broke people who just refuse to help themselves? And it's just like, you should have just never been born. Like, had you just never been born, and my taxes wouldn't be wasted on stuff like this. Because just imagine if we could actually take the tax money and put it into something positive programs. You know what I'm saying? Think about the level of homelessness that already exists, and you got people having more kids. Like, you're homeless. Why are you even having sex? Like, I don't even get that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not the kind of person that can just like bust it open if I'm not comfortable, happy, satisfied. Like, if I'm struggling and going through stuff, sex is the last thing on my mind. It just really is. Like, but it's the only thing on poor people's mind because I guess they just only have that to do or something. I don't know. I'm like full. I ate like half of this, and I ate a pretty good majority of my fries. I still got the baklava, but I gotta go, guys. I gotta go back to work and stuff like that. I appreciate our talk. Don't forget to leave me your comments in the comment section and tell me what you think. Do you think there's ever a case in a scenario where abortion is okay? You've heard my reasons. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you lovely people next time.